back, students. Today we are going to learn about the food factory of plants. That's the name of our next chapter. Let's begin. Where is the heart of our house located? It's our kitchen. Mom makes delicious food and we as a family gather together and have. So, we can tell our food factory of our house is our kitchen. Just like that, plants prepare their food in the leaves. So, leaves are called as the food factory of the plant. We studied in our previous class about this. Do you remember that last year? Today, we are going to learn more in details. Every living things need food to survive. It helps them to get energy to do various activities and also to grow. Some living things make their own food, but some may depend on the other living things for food. Living things that can produce their own food are called autotrophs. What they are called? Autotrophs. Example, plants. Plants prepare their own food. Next, living things that depend upon other living things for their food are called heterotrophs. Human beings and also animals. We depend on plants for food. Also, cow, deer, they also depend on plants for food. Let's learn more about the leaf, its different parts and its function. Let us begin with the parts of a leaf. Children, collect different types of leaves like this. Observe it. You can see different types of plants leaves having different shapes and also different sizes. But they may look different, but they perform same functions. The top surface, look here children, the top surface of a leaf is covered with a waxy coating. It prevents water loss from the leaf. The flat part of the leaf is called leaf blade. Look here, this is the tip of the leaf called leaf apex. There is a thin tube which runs through the middle of a leaf called midrib or main vein. Then also there are smaller tubes attached to the main veins and got divided. They are called side veins. These veins help in transporting water, minerals and food to other parts of the plant. They also provide structure and maintain shape for the leaf. The upper part and lower side of a leaf are slightly different in color, is it? Look here, this is dark green, here light green. The underneath of the leaf has many tiny pores or small holes called stomata, in singular stoma. These pores are so small and only visible under the microscope. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide enters through the stomata and oxygen and water vapor are released through this opening called stomata. How do plants make food? From lower classes onwards, we learn the answer, is it? Photosynthesis, we already know that. It is the process. Photosynthesis is a process by which plants prepare food with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide and water and stored in the form of starch in different parts of the plants. Let's explore more about it. Plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, from the air and water from the soil through the roots. The green color pigment you can see here, The green color pigment which gives the color called chlorophyll traps the sunlight. This sunlight energy is used while preparing the food in plants. Green leaves use stored sunlight, water and carbon dioxide for food preparation and this process known as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. The meaning of this term. Let's break that term. Photo plus synthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means preparation or putting together. So, we can give a definition. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants prepare food in the presence of sunlight. During this process, plants take in carbon dioxide and water and gives out oxygen as its byproduct. The oxygen is used by the other living things such as us human beings, animals for breathing. Plants store their food in the form of starch in their leaves. Sometimes the green color pigment chlorophyll is covered and masked by other pigments like yellow or red. They may not look green but will be able to undergo photosynthesis. Jen House, a Dutch scientist who discovered the process of photosynthesis. He described how the green plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen in the presence of sunlight. Leaves use energy from sunlight to convert water and carbon dioxide into a kind of sugar called glucose. This sugar is then transferred to all parts of the plants by the branches of the stem from there to other parts. Let's discuss how do plants use their food. They prepared food by the leaves. They use to get energy and also for their growth. Food which they prepare gives energy to the plant to perform various processes. Food helps plants to grow more leaves, branches and other parts also. Food is also used to repair their damages. The extra food is converted into a substance called starch. It is stored in leaves, stems, fruits, roots or seeds. The functions of a leaf. Leaf prepares food for the plant and they store the food in different parts such as leaves, stem, root, flowers, seeds, fruits. For example, leaves, spinach. For stem, I can give you an example of sugarcane, root, carrot, flower, cauliflower. So these vegetables or these fruits, we are actually the other living organisms such as human beings or animals, they are consuming. All living things including plants need air to survive. Stomata on a leaf help the plant to breathe. Stomata take in carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. Most leaves have a wide surface to absorb large amount of sunlight for photosynthesis. In some plants, leaves also helps in reproduction. So, these are the function of a leaf. Now, let's discuss about some plants with unusual features and very different from other plants. First, we begin with unusual plants. Non-green plants. There are certain non-green plants, they do not have chlorophyll to prepare their own food. So, these plants depend on dead or decaying plants or animals for food. For example, mushroom have very thin root-like structure that grow deep into the soil and absorbs food from the soil. They get or absorb food from other sources such as soil, green plants, etc. For example, bracket fungi. There are some plants with unusual features and very different from other plants. Let us learn about them. Unusual plants. First one, non-green plants. These non-green plants, they do not have chlorophyll to prepare their own food. So these plants, they depend on dead or decaying plants or animals for food. For example, mushroom. Mushroom have very thin root-like structures that grow deep into the soil and absorbs food. They get or absorb food from other sources such as soil and green plants also. For example, bracket fungi. We can see this plant grow on dried wood trunk. Next unusual plant we are going to discuss is insectivorous plant. This plant attack, capture, kill and digest insects. Such plants are called insectivorous plants. Example, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant. These are the example. Let's take an example of pitcher plant. How? The leaf looks similar to a container and shaped like that with a cover or with a lid. Because of the bright color, the insects are attracted to it. When an insect enters the pitcher or the container, it slips and falls into the juice below. This traps the insects inside and digests the insect. So these are the two unusual plants. One is non-green plants, example mushrooms. Second one, insectivorous plants, pitcher plant. Now, energy flow in living things. How? The sun energy flow through living things. We need energy to do activities. Not only for us, every living organisms, they receive energy from the food they take. Green plant prepare their own food through photosynthesis. The sun provides the energy and plants absorb this energy when they prepare food. This energy is directly or indirectly flows to human beings and animals because we depend on plants for food. We are heterotrophs. In this way, we can say that the energy of the sun flows to plants directly or indirectly. It reaches to human beings and also animals. This is the energy flow. Next, interdependence between plants and animals. Plants and animals depend upon each other for food and also for shelter. Plants prepare food and gives to animals, and they produce oxygen for human beings, animals for breathing. Animals, when they breathe out carbon dioxide, plants absorb it from atmosphere for photosynthesis. Plants also depend upon animals for pollination and seed dispersal. Birds, monkeys, squirrels, they depend on trees and plants for shelter and food. Thus, we can tell we are strongly interdependent on each other for our survival. Now, let's discuss about the balance in nature. Everything should have a balance. If it is unbalanced, we can see severe damages. We know all living things are depending each other for the survival. If the number of plants suddenly increases, what will happen? The level of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere won't be sufficient for doing photosynthesis. If the number of animals suddenly increases, what will happen that time? Plants won't be able to provide enough food and oxygen to all living beings. Hence, we can tell a huge increase in the number of plants and animals can bring the threat to the survival of both living things. It brings disturbance in balancing nature. Human activities, our activities such as mining, construction of buildings, cutting of trees, this disturb actually the balance in nature. So, we should be very cautious about our actions. These actions can impact our environment in very bad way. So, we must protect every living organisms because we depend on each other for our survival. Then only we can maintain the balance in our earth. So children, let's conclude this chapter. In this chapter, we have learned about leaves as the food factory of the plant. Then leaf different parts, leaf function, the process of photosynthesis, how do plants use food, functions of a leaf, and some unusual plants such as non-green plants and insectivorous plants. How the energy flow in the living world, interdependence between plants and animals, and at last maintaining the nature balance. So dear children, we finished this chapter. So try to do the textbook exercises and the notes will be provided by me later. See you in the next class.